Hi, I'm Joan Newcomb, and today's morning musings is You Can't Go Home Again. I'm doing a series of daily morning musings, and I'm using posts to my blog, Adventures in Density and Effort, as inspiration. Now, I wrote these a while ago, and the world has completely changed since then. So if I encounter anything that is out of date, I will give you the most recent information. At the end, I will summarize the topic based on what's going on in the world today. You can't go home again. The past few weeks have been filled with the settling my mother's estate and finding places for all her things. One final act the day before we left was to go to all 7 places my mother had lived in DC and leave a teaspoonful of her remains. One of these last places we went to was the first place I lived in Bethesda. I was shocked to discover they'd recently painted it gray. It had always been dark brown, and chopped the tree down that had been a sapling in 1959. We had plans to fly back on March 2nd, but one of our dogs took sick, so we suddenly found ourselves driving across country. Mercury is retrograde. It seems fitting, experiencing delays and changes with travel. It gave me an opportunity to swing by Ann Arbor to sprinkle some of my mother's ashes at the house where she grew up. I also stopped by Blissfield, Michigan, where my grandmother Adele Wilbur and great-grandmother Doc Wilbur's widow lived side by side on Wilbur Street. It's now a parking lot. My mother's house is now cheap student housing, painted green. She would be dismayed. You can't go home again. Even if the place hasn't changed, you have. You're older. You've grown. You're different than you once were. Your memories aren't necessarily accurate either. Things weren't as wonderful as you remember, nor were they as horrible. They just were what they were. This isn't a good thing. It's not a bad thing. It just is what it is. Life keeps flowing along. I was reflecting on this as we left Michigan and headed across Illinois, Wisconsin, Minnesota, miles of flat, snow-covered farmland. Nothing to photograph. The brightest thing in the area was my husband's solar-powered prayer wheel on our dashboard, sending out blessings to all sentient beings. I've created a slow and monotonous return to Seattle after nearly 2 years away, an opportunity to reflect, to release, to reframe. You can't go home again. You are different. Home is different. People step into and out of your timeline. The dynamics change. The slides you view reality through dissolve and reconstruct. It's always an opportunity to reinvent yourself, to try something new, to do something else. Even if everything seems the same, you can respond differently. If you resist, you create a boulder in the river. Don't resist, and you flow to a new place. Don't resist, and new energy flows into your life. We are meant to move forward. As beings, we're meant to evolve. We're not meant to go home and to return to the place of our childhood. The home we seek isn't in the past. We seek our return to source. In actuality, we've never left. As essence, we're always connected. As essence, we're beyond time and space. Only a small portion of us is focused in physical form. Physical reality is continually expanding. The past is denser than the present. The future is more diffuse than now. Physical energy is raising in vibration to match spirit. In actuality, from the perspective of spirit, the past, present, and future is all happening at once. The past isn't gone. It's just a vibration we no longer can detect, the way our computers can't read old floppy disks. We can't go home to our memories because our energy vibration is in the now. Go inward to your inner being and you will feel at home at last. So if you've had any experiences like this, please leave me a comment below. I love to read your comments. I'm reflecting on this because the last sentence that I wrote, go inward to your inner being and you will feel at home at last. That's actually a real profound thing that I wrote so long ago, because the truth is we're energetic beings, and the external reality, which can seem very solid and dense and real, also is always changing. And it seems like our bodies just want to keep things solid, but really the river of time, the river of life is always flowing. Where you can really feel at home is by connecting within, turning within and being aware of the immense consciousness that you are inside yourself. And it really helps stabilize things. And it's really useful to me because I've been very frustrated that we don't own a house right now. I've lost 2 houses in my time. The first one was in my first marriage, and then the second one was right after we came back from Washington, D.C. with my mother passing. It was in the midst of the whole 2008 fiasco, and the house that we bought, it was underwater by twice as much as it was worth. We decided to give it back to the bank. It was stepping into a whole new reality that we did not anticipate and turned out to be a tremendous healing. The next few years that unfolded were perfect, but not something I would have written into my script. So it's very useful because we've been living through some really stressful times, and the future is really completely completely up in the air. And the thing I know is when I really want to change, fix, or manipulate reality, that's not my self as consciousness. My self as consciousness is blissfully enjoying all of this. It's my little personality self that wants things to be stable and secure and go the way that I want them to go. And the thing is, as consciousness, there's a greater imagination than this little personality. When I can shift my focus to the perspective of consciousness, it opens up infinite possibilities and allows things to happen in surprising and amazing ways. If you've had anything like this happen, please leave a comment below. I love to read your comments. And if you like these videos, please share them with your family and friends and on your social media. Please click the like button and follow or subscribe. And that way you're telling the algorithm to get this out to as many people as possible, because there's folks out there that really need to see this information. And if you want a free sample of one of my consciousness techniques, click on the link below to the skybox technique. It'll give you a drone's eye perspective of everything that's going on in your life and give you some insight as consciousness about what's happening. And if you want some manifestation techniques, click on the link below to Manifesting Money and Miracles. It's my self-study course where you can learn some energy techniques to increase your ability to bring into form the things that you'd like to have. And if you'd like to have a personal session with me, click on the link below to private sessions. I take a look at you as consciousness and what's going on in your life today, and then I can answer any questions that you might have, whether it's about your relationships, about your job, about what's coming up in your future. And I can also talk to your deceased loved ones. And it's all recorded just for you. And if you'd like to learn how to do this for yourself, that is, navigate your life as consciousness with the help of some of my consciousness techniques, Manifesting Money and Miracles is a great preparation for my coaching special, where I work with you one-on-one and give you specifically chosen consciousness techniques so that you can transform your life. So go to my website, joan-newcomb.com, and I'll see you tomorrow in another Morning Musings.